Hey everybody, Craig Hester here with R2AWatches.com and the Detente Watch Group. Thanks for joining us today on our second show in our new, we're thinking about calling it the dungeon, because we actually, this studio is actually in the basement of our office area. Thank you for joining us for our second show. We have already, we think and hope, made some improvements to lighting and some improvements to sound compared to the first video. So we want to give you the best viewing experience possible. We're going to keep making tweaks and trying to improve everything because we really want to start bringing more regular videos to our fans. So if you are watching this on YouTube, be sure and hit like and subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, you want to join the Vostok Europe Timepieces group on Facebook, or you want to like the R2A Watches page on Facebook. Today, we are talking about mini watches. And I don't mean mini as in a lot, I mean mini as in the Mini Cooper. These are the only watches in the world that are officially licensed by the Mini Cooper company to be the official watch that should be an accessory to your Mini Cooper. That said, of course, you don't have to own a Mini Cooper to own a mini watch. These are really, I like to call this kind of watch a fun watch because I do want to make clear right up front, because we do sell a lot of aggressive sport type watches, that these are not intended for extreme sportings of any kind. You wouldn't even want to swim in these watches. They're 5 ATM. Which is fine for what they are. These certainly lean more towards the fashion end of watch making as opposed to the sport end of watchmaking. But if you like really interesting designs, you want some really cool colors, you want something that is not as expensive, obviously, as our big sport watches are, this is a really great alternative to a lot of the watches that we carry. We found these watches in Basel. They were presenting in Basel this year, and when we saw them, we really liked them. We started talking to the company, and we talked about importing them into the United States. And we're kind of in the testing period now. One of the things we've learned over the years is when we find a new model, a new brand that we like, it's better to go ahead and test them for a while and see how our customers react to them, look at the quality and so forth. So we're kind of still in the testing phase of Mini. So we hope that you like them and that these can become a part of our stable of brands. I'm going to jump right into the 4 styles that we're talking about today. Now, there are a lot of other mini styles. These are just the 4 that we're going to happen to talk about in this video today. And I will start with the wheel. So what Mini really tries to do is incorporate, not surprisingly, aspects of the Mini Cooper vehicle into the design elements of the watch. I'm going to point out right away, the first thing is they really like to talk about and want to make sure everybody understands, and let me get a little better focus here, that everybody understands that the crown is the gas cap of the Mini. It is designed to look just like the gas cap of the Mini. If you own a Mini, you're going to know that because you see that gas cap a lot. Most of the design inspirations actually come from the dash, things they're pulling from the dashboard of the Mini. In this particular case, the wheel is pretty obviously why it's called this. There's this spinning rotor in the middle of the watch that spins like, if I can get it to spin, come on, spin for me. Spin class. There we go. When you first get it spinning, you can almost get it to spin where you can't even see it when you get it rolling really fast. That spins. Now, let me point out some important specs about the Mini and explain something in relation to that wheel spinning. First of all, they're all Swiss made, okay? They all use Ronda Swiss Quartz movements. So the point about that is this wheel, which is designed to look like the daisy wheel that's on the that was an interesting sound, that's on the that's your rim on Mini Coopers, on some Mini Coopers, and also it reminds me of the daisy wheels that used to be on the old Porsches. That's the inspiration for it, but I want to make sure you understand that this is not a rotor. There we go. Look at that puppy go now. Look how fast. Wow. See, it's like you can almost not see it. I mean, that's really cool. So I want to point out that it's not a rotor that winds a watch, okay? It is an affectation. It's there for looks. It's something to just be fun and interesting. It doesn't have an actual function with the watch. This has the ventilated strap, an extra thick with the real nice padding. They are nice, soft Quality straps on these. They're all 44 or 45 millimeters, so it's not a lot. There's not much point in me going into which one is exactly 44 and which one is 45 because there's not a huge difference. Look at that spin now. There's not a huge difference between them. They're a fairly slim configuration in terms of how much they're going to raise above the wrist. The really 44, 45 is what I kind of call mid-size today. It used to be, I remember when the Seiko Monster came out and they referred to that as the Monster, and I think the original Seiko Monster was 45. It used to be 44 or 45 was a pretty big watch. Not these days, obviously, with watches that run up into the 50s. And so this, I consider this a mid-size. This is a good everyday wear size for a watch. And again, this is just, I like again to say that these are fun. These are watches that are intended for fun. So that's the wheel. Then the other three I'm going to go into, the next one I'm going to get into is the bubble. So that one, I think you can tell why it's called the bubble. There's a bubble. It's actually above the sapphire crystal is a secondary crystal that's in another holder. And this is to mimic the bubble configuration on the dash of the Mini Cooper. In this case, instead of actually showing you a tachometer or the gas gauge or whatever it would show on the Mini, it is showing the second hand. So I'm going to activate the watch, and you can see that center rotating metal plate is actually the second hand for the watch. And then you have the date over here. And one of the things I love about this particular execution is the dial, particularly on this blue one, it pops in such a beautiful sun ray. You can see where it's catching the light in here. And by the way, we don't use star filters or anything like that. This is just natural light in here. Well, not natural light, it's artificial light, but it's just the light that we have in here. And then it has the racing stripe down the middle, and it has a split lug strap configuration, which is one of my personal favorites. So I like the look and feel of a split lug. The next one, and I would say that this is probably my favorite of the minis, just because there's so much going on in this watch, and I love the way it looks. This is their chronograph, and I like the fact that it uses a different movement than your standard 5040s from Ronda. This is the 5040F, and I'm going to be honest with you, I had never heard of this movement until we got these minis in. I don't know if the F is something that Mini just had created for them. Maybe somebody can put in the comments below if they know more about the F from Ronda. We always enjoy getting educated by our customers and fans. But what makes it different than your typical 5040 movements, I mean, there's the 5040 that has just the date, and then there's the 5040 that has a day date. This actually has the day of the week, the month of the year, and then the date is actually with this pointer that's on a separate hand off the main pinion, and it moves to the next location to give you the date on the watch. So that is one of the big differences, and also the lowest subdial is bigger. And again, that gives you the effect of the dashboard look from the Mini Cooper. It is a full function chronograph. I'm going to make sure I've got everything set so it'll go. There you go. It's a full function chronograph, just like any, with a split second at the beginning, just like any 5040. And you can stop and reset. And a couple of other things I really like about this particular model. I love the double stripe on the extra thick racing strap. This also has the Mini Cooper gas can. All the crowns are the gas cap. And I like how they only plated the sides on here, so you get a nice two-tone effect on this particular model, and the fact that the pushers for the chronograph are like gas pedals. So there's a lot of nice little touches and features in the chronograph. Now, the other one for the bracelet fans out there, and for those of you who have been watching as we have been developing the Iron Wolf, you'll know this is something I also like. This two-tone bracelet is really great, especially with the double stripe. So it really is still picking up the whole racing feel, and how the stripe runs all the way through the bracelet, all the way through the watch. This is a more simple sub-dial version of the Ronda movement with a sub-second. It's basically their sub-second movement. So you can see the second hand moving there on the sub-dial. Again, about the same profile, a little thinner than the chronograph, because of course that movement's a little thicker. Very nice bracelet. Everything is solid. There's solid end links, solid links. So you've got a nice quality bracelet here. And again, this is the one with the subdial. So all of the minis, again, they really have a lot of throughput of design and styling that goes back to the Mini Cooper and the elements that are in there. A lot of pulling things from the dash, a lot of the gas cap, the wheels. There's just a lot of attention to detail. So if you're looking for a watch, if you're looking for a heavy duty sport watch, this is not it. If you're looking for something fun, different, interesting, that's got a great story behind it, that is the only watch in the world that is officially licensed by the Mini Cooper company. These are a really great option for you. We like them. Obviously, we wouldn't have picked them up if we didn't like them. We think they're interesting. We think they're fun. We think they're affordable and something that you would really enjoy having in your collection. If any questions, be sure and post them either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll do our best to answer them. And again, we appreciate any additional information that our viewers can give us about any of the watches that we talk about in our videos. We don't make any pretense that we know everything about every watch that we carry. We learn every day about watches in general and about the individual brands that we carry. So thank you so much for joining us in our second show in our new studios here in Connecticut, and hey, keep watching.